now turn to section 4 on page 7. Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about music for students who are training to be primary school teachers. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40 on page 7. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hello everyone. This morning's lecture is not on your list, but those of you who were here last week will remember that when one of you challenged me about why bother to teach music to young children, I said I'd respond. So what follows is both my defence and my rationale. It was surprising to discover from both your attitude and that of the population in general that you feel negative about the value of music education. I appreciate that none of you has studied music, so let's begin by forgetting about the distinction between classical and popular music and think about music in its widest sense, from a simple tune played on a flute to a full-scale orchestra. The modern generation is exposed to music without ever having to go to a formal performance. For example, on holiday recently, I was struck by music being played in the street on bottles. Each one was filled with water to varying depths, so together they constituted a musical scale, and the player tapped them with a fork. The effect was extraordinary. The chances are you'll hear music in some form or other when you go into a shop, a bus station, a cafe, or wander around a gallery. The day will come when you'll hear music on the moon. You don't need to be a genius to enjoy or to play music. You don't even need to have any special talent. Research shows that babies respond to music in much the same way as they respond to the stimulus of being smiled at. I'm sure many of you will have heard or seen adverts for music CDs for children under the age of 1. And last week, I read a fascinating study of people who had been in prison for many years. They were helped to stage a musical, and the whole exercise had a hugely positive effect on their behaviour. So what are the main advantages of teaching music from a teacher's point of view? Show me a young person who isn't into pop and rap DVDs, or who doesn't want to buy the latest film music. Using this type of music in class will create a link between you and the lives of the children you're teaching. There is proven evidence, based on research carried out in a number of countries, that children who have some form of music education develop increased confidence. And perhaps more importantly, their levels of concentration show a marked improvement, which from a teaching point of view is a considerable bonus.